Students of 8th class, let us continue with the 5th chapter because it was a bit long chapter, that is traders to rulers. So in the next part we shall study Anglo-Maratha wars. Already we have studied the Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, where by which battle the English East India Company became a supreme power in India. Then we saw in southern part of India four Anglo-Mysore wars. That means war against Hyder and between Hyder and Britishers and Tipu Sultan and Britishers. And now this is the first Anglo-Maratha war we are going to study. The English went to war against the Marathas for the first time in 1775. These were the same Marathas who helped the Britishers to defeat Tipu Sultan. Now, this was the policy of the Britishers to defeat one strong kingdom and make friendship with the other one, and again defeat to whom he had made a friendship. So, this time it was the first war against the Marathas. This war is known as the First Anglo Maratha War. Okay, so it was because of the throne of Peshwa. That means who shall become the prime minister of Marathas kingdom. So, students, the Anglo-Maratha War came to an end with the signing of the Treaty of Salbai. Then there was a second Anglo-Maratha War, which ended by subsidiary alliance. Bajirao II signed with the English East India Company a subsidiary alliance. That means virtually the Marathas lost their independence under the Britishers. So they considered Britishers as a supreme power in India and over them. Then there was third Anglo-Maratha War. Since Bajirao II accepted the subsidiary alliance, later he felt humiliated. It is written there, the Maratha chief were feeling humiliated after the subsidiary alliance. So what happened? Bajirao began to make plans to unite the Maratha against the Britishers. So there was third Anglo-Maratha War. So the Marathas made their last attempt to regain their old prestige and independence. They declared war against the English company. So the war continued for about 2 years. Finally, the Marathas were defeated and large part of their territories were annexed by the Britishers. So this is another turning point, defeating the big, vast Marathas. The final effort to save India from the British rule ended in failure. Then, this was the third Anglo-Maratha War, led to the abolition of Peshwaship also. That means prime ministership. Then there was another war, that is the Anglo-Sikh relations or Anglo-Sikh wars. They had Maharaja Ranjit Singh were very strong. Whole of Pakistan, Punjab till Delhi, half of Haryana, Himachal, and Jammu Kashmir was ruled by Maharaja Ranjit Singh. So even the Britishers were, in spite of conquering, in spite of annexing the whole Indian Empire, they were afraid of Maharaja Ranjit Singh in Punjab. So, because he had a strong army which was trained in the European tradition, Ranjit Singh maintained friendly relations with the English till his death. But after his death, what happened? There was a political instability. That means who shall become the king? There was a conflict among the various claimants to the throne. That means everyone was claiming for the throne, that who shall become the king. Khalsa played a greater role. Khalsa, the army played a greater role. And at last, finally, Dilip Singh, minor son of Maharaj Ranjit Singh, ascended the throne. That is the son of Maharani Jindan. And this led to the first Anglo-Sikh war against the Britishers. They were defeated and had to sign the Treaty of Lahore in 1846. Okay, and in this, Kashmir was snatched and given to Raja Gulab Singh. The British control over Punjab caused anger among the Sikhs. So there was another war took place. Okay, the Sikh army already reduced in strength due to the Treaty of Lahore. So the Governor General annexed Punjab, Maharaj Dalip Singh was pensioned off and sent to England. Okay, and also he was not that mature. So he was sent to England, and Punjab was the last kingdom, a very great kingdom, which lost its independence under the Britishers. Then British expansion under Lord Dalhousie. So he was a very mastermind person. So Dalhousie used three chief methods to expand the British Empire: wars and conquest, doctrine of lapse, and maladministration or misgovernance. So, what is the doctrine of lapse? According to this doctrine, if the ruler of a dependent state died without leaving a natural heir, the state would automatically pass over to the Britishers. So that happened with Rani of Jhansi. Jhansi had adopted son. The British did not allow him to become the king after the death of his father because he was adopted one. So Rani of Jhansi, Lakshmi Bai, had to fight against the Britishers, and this there were a few of the kingdoms, Tara, Sambalpur, Jhansi, Nagpur, fell into the hands of the Britishers because of the doctrine of lapse introduced by Lord Dalhousie. He also introduced abolition of titles and pension. Under doctrine of lapse, all titles and pension were abolished. Those who used to get, those who childless parents, those who had children who were adopted one and supposed to get pension like a Nana Sahib and so on, the pension was stopped. And another method was annexing particular territory was basis of misgovernance. That means blame the ruler that he is misgoverning the people. He is charging heavy taxes. Unnecessarily blame the king and snatch the kingdom. Awadh was fell into the hands of Britishers under the basis of misgovernance. So these were the policy of Lord Dalhousie. So students, that's all from your chapter. In the next part, we shall study the question answers, the exercise, and so on.